10 seconds. Athletes stand by. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day number 2 here at the Central Regional. We've got heat number 1 of our teams coming out and taking on event number 3, presented by Trifecta. We're gonna break it up a little bit. We got our male and female pairs. Our first pair coming out, taking on 3 rounds. 30 calories on that bike for the guys, 20 for the ladies. And then we got tandem deadlifts, 21, 15, and 9. They're gonna do that for those 3 rounds. And we're gonna follow it up with 1 round with the second pair of the male and female combo, 90 and 60 calories on the assault bike for the male and the female, and then 45 deadlifts. Once again, this is heat number 1, Central Regional. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Saturday morning. Let's break down the 10 teams we got out here on the competition floor in lane number 1, CrossFit 913. Lane number 2, 8th Day Gym. In lane number 3, CrossFit 8085. In lane number 4, Centerville Crossfit. In lane number 5, CrossFit Hendersonville. In lane number 6, CrossFit Lee Summit. Lane number 7, Triple Crown CrossFit. Lane number 8, CrossFit T-Town. Lane number 9, CrossFit Omaha. And in lane number 10, CrossFit 540. So we're just 2 minutes in, folks. Those are our first 10 teams out here on the competition floor. Just past the 2-minute mark, you can see our first tandem taking on those 21 deadlifts. 440 pounds total on that barbell. And it looks like CrossFit Hendersonville, one of the first teams to finish up the deadlifts, as well as Triple Crown CrossFit. So there's your 1 and 2. And then it looks like 8th Day Gym down there wrapping up our top 3. We got a 17-minute cap on today's workout. Event number 3, just past the 3-minute mark. Once again, the calories stay the same. Each round, 30 by the gentlemen, 20 by the ladies. Only thing that changes is the deadlift reps. We're here in that second round with that first tandem. It's like 8th Day Gym. Now going to be our first team on that second set of partner deadlifts. Just past the 4-minute mark. Right now our only team working on the set of 15. Athletes advancing the bar forward every 5 reps. CrossFit Hendersonville now making their way out towards the deadlifts, as well as CrossFit Omaha. Final 5 reps here on the set of 15 for 8th Day Gym. And they're gonna finish up their set of 15 and make their way back to the bike. The event record held by Lone Star CrossFit in this event, 14:36. So we'll see if anybody here in the Central Regional can top that right now, just past the 5-minute mark. 8th Day Gym, followed by CrossFit Hendersonville. And then the battle for third place between Triple Crown CrossFit and CrossFit Omaha. Six minutes in, here, event number 3, heat number 1. 6 minutes in, 8th Day Gym, trying to hold down that top spot. Here in heat number 1, the judges' hand in the air here. As athletes get ready to take on the set of 9 deadlifts before tagging off to their second pair. It's gonna be 8th Day Gym finishing up the assault bike and making their way towards the deadlifts. Going right to work. This time, athletes advancing the bar forward every 3 reps. 10 minutes remaining on the cap. An 8th Day Gym. Here at Regionals, we like to call Saturday Moving Day. And they are trying to make some moves here. First event, day number 2. 8th Day Gym, already done with the first portion. And now here comes CrossFit Omaha, down here in lane number 9. So 8th Day, followed by Omaha, and now CrossFit Hendersonville. Your 1, 2, and 3, Triple Crown CrossFit. Also keeping it close. And Omaha is going to be our second team to finish that first portion. And they tie it off to their second pair. 8th Day, followed by Omaha. And now Hendersonville, your 1, 2, and 3. Once again, this is going to be 1 round for time here in the second portion. 90 calories for the guys, 60 for the ladies. And they're going to make their way towards the barbell for 45 deadlifts. They have just under 10 minutes to do so. Once again, 17-minute cap. Triple Crown tagging off. So now we have 4 teams that are done with that first portion. CrossFit Lee Summit able to finish it out, as well as T-Town. Right now, a majority of our teams working on that 90 and 60 respectively. But it won't be long. We're gonna start seeing those barbells moving once again through the 45 deadlifts. Just past the 10-minute mark. Now we got a judge's hand in the air down there in lane number 2, 8th day gym. And we're our first team onto the assault bike here in the second portion. Once again, both competitors must finish their 90 or 60 calories respectively before advancing. Looks like they've got one athlete done.
Let's go, Mike.
Now a judge's hand in the air for the male competitor for 8th day gym. And there it is, folks, our first team done with the 90-60. They're now gonna make their way towards the deadlift, 45 reps on the menu. Here we go, right to work, 8th day gym. Down here in lane number 2. And a smooth 5 unbroken reps to get things started. Now it looks like CrossFit Omaha making their way down the floor. Triple Crown CrossFit as well. For all eyes on lane number 2, 8th day gym, chiseling their way down the competition floor. CrossFit Omaha and Triple Crown battling it out for second place. CrossFit Hendersonville also in the mix here in lane number 5. We are 14 minutes in. Once again, 17-minute cap, so 3 minutes remaining. Eighth day gym, still holding down that top spot. But it's a close race for second between Hendersonville, Triple Crown, and CrossFit Omaha. Eighth day gym, their eyes set on that finish line here. And they are gonna cross right before the 15-minute mark. 8th day gym. Coming out here in event number 3 and taking a heat victory 14:53. Just under 2 minutes remaining, athletes. Eighth day gym, setting the bar high here. We'll see what other teams can finish underneath the cap. And right now, it looks like Triple Crown CrossFit, the closest team. CrossFit Omaha not far behind. Hendersonville advancing the bar forward. One minute, competitors, 1 minute. Triple Crown advancing to the final section. 45 seconds. Thirty seconds. Triple Crown trying to finish it out. CrossFit Omaha trying to finish it out. Hendersonville. Crunch time is here. 10 seconds. And we're gonna count them down in 3, 2, 1. That is time. And Triple Crown CrossFit able to sneak across that finish line, 16:56. One more round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for heat number 1.
On our next 10 teams to take on this event will be here in heat number 2, including a few teams that were here 1 year ago. In lane number 1, the 19th place finisher from last year, Coda CrossFit Norman. We'll also have Coda CrossFit from last year's regional as well in lane 9. And in lane number 6, the 23rd place finisher from a year ago, entering today in 12th, Maven. But a team that's got a interesting name in this one is CrossFit Kinesis.
There's Kyle Kasperbauer from CrossFit Kinesis, 11th overall after 2 events. Hopefully they can make a strong push today.
Seconds. Stand by.
Heat 2 of 3 underway in team event number 3, and it starts with everybody's favorite implement in the gym, the assault bike.
The assault bike, we've all done it, and we know it's the one of the most devastating pieces of equipment in any gym anywhere. You can spend 20 seconds on that thing flat out, and you can spend the rest of the day trying to recover. But the keys to today's event, in event 3, you've got to have your heavy hitters as your cleanup. So your second male-female pair, it's going to be really important that they can manage the bike properly and not go all out, but they need to be really, really strong on the deadlifts. They need to be able to work together and finish those 45 deadlifts in a timely fashion.
And it'll have to be very timely, and it might have to be an event record if anybody wants to take the lead here in heat number 2. Our top time, 14 minutes, 53 seconds, set by 8th Day Gym in heat number 1. That's just 17 seconds off the event record. That's in heat number 1. We're going to see some fast times here in these final 2 heats.
It was incredible to watch, actually, because their time on the deadlifts for 45 deadlifts at 440 pounds on an offset bar was just over 2 minutes.
First team to make the break to the bar off of the bikes. We're actually going to have 2 right next to each other. In lane number 5, you see their male athlete in the white shirt, that being Kyle Kasperbauer. That's CrossFit Kinesis. On the right side of the screen in blue shirts is Maven. So 11th and 12th in the point standings. The top 2 teams ranked here in this heat are 1 and 2 getting to the bar.
And Brandon, what you'll notice on the bar is that you've got 4 blue bumpers on one side and 4 blue bumpers and a yellow on the other side, on the male side of the bar. So it's offset by 35 pounds towards the male side of the bar, which makes it 440 pounds, gives the guy a little bit more work to do. And it makes it a real struggle if you've got, especially if you've got a partnership where the height difference is significant.
It's a no rep for kinesis with their female athlete. Don't believe she actually got the extension throughout her body, and they will make up that 1 rep and advance the bar. They will advance the bar on this opening pair every time they're a third of the way through the round. Here in the round of 21, every 7 reps. They'll advance it in the back pair every 9 reps. The leaders getting to the bar will actually find themselves in a race for 4th, as on the near lane, black shirts, right side of the screen is Coda CrossFit. They were the first team to make the break back to the bikes at about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Just right in line with the paces that we were seeing in heat number 1.
Yeah, they hustled back to the bike, which is great. I love to see that really quick transition time because it's so easy to take an extra 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds on your way back to the bike. You might as well just pick up the tempo, get back on the bike, and start earning some calories while you're there.
So it's Coda in first, Declaration CrossFit, 1 lane over from them in second, and Maven will be the 3rd place team through round number 1 as we hit that middle round. And middle rounds of events like this normally aren't fun for anybody out there. If you do stuff like this in the gym, you know that middle round is rough. How about the middle round of an event with the assault bike included?
Yeah, anytime you've got to get back on that and knock out either 30 or 20 calories, you know it's just going to be a grind, but you've got a 3rd round as well to sit back on that bike, and you need to be able to manage your pace so that you can avoid redline, but you also have a sense of urgency because the 17-minute time cap it's a factor.
Coda CrossFit, one of 2 Coda teams here. They have a same affiliate banner, 2 separate facilities. Coda, the one out of Oklahoma City. There's also Coda CrossFit Norman. Give you a guess on where they're from on that one. We start seeing some judges' hands making their way up, including for lane number 3. This is 3 Kings Red, another one of the affiliates with 2 teams here. 3 Kings Black will be in our final heat. And it'll be red, and on the near side of the screen, Declaration CrossFit. So we've got yet another lead change. The 3rd time we've switched implements, and it's the 3rd time we've seen a different leader.
And we're looking right here at lane 3, 3 Kings Red. You can see a huge height difference between their male-female. The guy's having to do so much more work to get that bar up to the very top of his lockout. It's a really tricky thing to be able to manage that.
Now, how can you manage that if you've got somebody that's significantly taller than somebody else?
You're just going to have to slide one athlete over to the bar. You can see the guy's taking a really narrow grip, the girl's a little bit wider, and that's just going to, it allows him to get that full pull all the way to the top.
Now on the right side, you saw that height differential. It was maybe about a foot for the 2 athletes out of 3 Kings Red. It was pretty level for the athletes out of Declaration, and that might have been the difference maker on the bar as Declaration retakes the lead, and we've got a 4th lead change already. Well, that's a way to try to make up some ground, and
my goodness, that's gonna hurt. On the assault bike, it's one of those things that you can do. You can crank it for 20 or 30 strokes and then just coast it out, and you actually get rewarded. The calories will keep ticking away, but sometimes you can pay the penalty for that effort.
For the athletes making their way back to the bike or already on the bike for a 3rd time, this will be the last time they're on the assault bike. They'll only have 9 deadlifts remaining before they'll switch out to the 2nd pair, which is just watching the destruction that's ahead of them in a very different format in this picture poison type of event.
And you can see all kinds of discomfort on his face. That is a miserable place to be.
Here in event number 3, which is a just brutal way to start the second day of competition. It wasn't too bad on the legs for these athletes yesterday. Today will correct that just a little bit.
Well, we're going to light the posterior on fire. We're going to smoke the lungs on the assault bike. This is a real test.
Female athlete done for declaration. Judge's hand is up for their male athlete now. Now it's 7 minutes and 12 seconds. 8th Day Gym made the switch, and that time has already gone without anybody getting to the deadlift bar. Declaration will make their way there, but 8th Day Gym just showing how impressive that performance was in heat number 1 as Declaration onto the bar for 9 final reps on this opening pair.
That was a good recovery on their part. The first rep was ugly. It was moving all over the place, left to right. They had to find their balance and stay locked out at the top. They got organized before they did the next couple reps.
And for Declaration, this is actually a brother-sister pair that's closing out the opening half of this event, 7 minutes and 52 seconds. And pair number 2, which has watched for 8 minutes how bad this event is going to hurt, now they get to enjoy it themselves.
And this is what we talked about earlier, Brandon. The second pair is really key because you need to, it's crunch time, you need to move, but at the same time, you're attacking 90 and 60 calories on the assault bike. You're looking at about 5 minutes of work if you're hustling. So you got to settle into a pace that you can manage for that full 5 minutes.
Third team through will be Coda, so at the halfway point, it'll be Declaration in first, about 11 seconds clear of 3 Kings Red, and then Coda, who's trying to make up as much ground as they can, and that is aggressive with 90 calories ahead of you. They will be about 20 seconds back from the lead.
Looking across the field at some of the second pairs throughout the course of the day, I've noticed that the second male tends to be the taller athlete, really, really big. They can put tons of power down on the pedals and earn those calories quickly.
Now as the switch is happening for much of the teams, let's go down to the floor and Mike Arsenault.
Over the last 2 weekends, I've heard of 3 different types of strategies to how to approach this workout. Rob, you mentioned off the top, you want your biggest deadlifters going second. That's one strategy. The other 2 I've heard of is put your best biker second, and also just forget about performance and put your best mentally focused, mentally strongest pair at the end of the workout. So you think deadlift is the way to go. What do you think of the other 2 strategies approaching this second half of event 3?
I think they're all valid, and honestly, it depends on personnel. You've got to know your 4 players. You've got to know, can they push on the bike, or are they stronger in the deadlift? Where are you going to make up time in any given workout or event? So anytime I'm approaching a workout in the gym, I tend to look at the different parts of it, and I figure out where can I make up time against somebody else. So I know that I'm not going to win on a rowing workout, but if it has rowing and a barbell in it, I know that I can move quickly on the barbell.
And one team that knows that they need to move very quickly on the bike and the barbell as well is our second place team after that switch, that being 3 Kings Red. And this is one of a few teams where they have a sister team, basically. This one actually with their team going later with 3 Kings Black. Is there anything to a possible, maybe getting some notes and trying to take some kind of advantage of having basically teammates of teams?
I think you can get some feedback from your teammates, but what are they going to tell you other than that really sucked? I mean, they can give you some feedback in terms of like strategy on the bike or strategy on the deadlift, but there's no doubt that these teams have practiced this event in their gyms. I am sure that this is not the first time that they're walking through this. So you got to be sure that their athletes are all going to communicate in a way that's like, yeah, it sucks, let's commiserate and then move forward.
Heat number 1, we saw splits of around 5 minutes getting through the bike portion of this. How are you negotiating that kind of time, knowing that you're going to be suffering for a little bit, but you also have to link up so there's not too much of a separation?
I would be taking a look at my my partner's bike. I'd be looking at the screen, or at least having a chat back and forth every minute or so to make sure that we were moving at a similar pace. And if let's say I finished sooner than my partner, I would continue to pedal out on the bike just to keep my legs and my body fresh, so that when my partner was done, we could jump off and go.
Now, if that 5-minute pace holds true, we should be within a minute of seeing our 3 leaders start to make their way. And in fact, we do have a judge's hand up for the female athlete on 3 Kings Red. They were the second place team, 11 seconds back from the leaders' Declaration CrossFit. There they are in the matching American shorts. It's our event record, 14 minutes, 36 seconds, set a week ago in Salt Lake City by Lone Star CrossFit. That was nearly broken in heat number 1 by our event leaders, 8th Day Gym at 14:53. Female athletes done for both Declaration and 3 Kings Red. Judges hand up for the male athlete on 3 Kings Red, and 3 Kings Red is actually going to take the lead, so they've made up a more than 11-second gap. And they're going to have a pretty decent lead, as I don't see the judges hand up for the male athlete on Declaration CrossFit. They'll have about 2 minutes to complete 45 deadlifts. That bar will advance every 9 reps. Judges hand up on the right side of the screen. That for the male athlete on Declaration CrossFit, which is now good for 3rd as Coda CrossFit. Excuse me, the Trax Pack in lane number 10. The very bottom lane is making their way to the deadlift bar. They've shot into 2nd place.
Brandon, one of the things I noticed in the first heat with 8th Day Gym, their deadlifts, they did all 5 sets of 9. They did them unbroken. So they would do 9, slide the bar forward, 9 reps unbroken, all touch and go. And I'm seeing some of these teams break up their deadlifts a little bit earlier.
Leader at the halfway point, Declaration, will be 3rd to the barbell. 4th will be Coda CrossFit. See them in the mismatched shirts near the bottom of the screen. The leaders continue to be 3 Kings Red, but they're trying to hold off a hard-charging Trax Pack, and Trax Pack might have actually grabbed the lead, as they seem to be going just about unbroken on these sets. Sets of 5 and 4. Only a couple of reps separate them on the bottom of the screen in lane number 10, that Trax Pack. And on the top of the screen, now on the left side, 3 Kings Red.
It's easy at this stage of the event for the deadlifts to start to fall apart, where you become out of rhythm. The bumper plates are hitting the ground at different times, so the barbell's going to slingshot off the floor at different rates. And it's really, really difficult to try to stay in sync with your partner at this level of fatigue.
Only about 4 seconds separating 1st and 2nd. It continues to be 3 Kings Red in the lead, but just narrowly over Trax Pack. Virtually on opposite ends of the floor from each other. Seems a little bit tighter for Trax Pack on the right. They're doing sets of 5 and 4, a little bit quicker rest, and there's a miscue for them for the first time since they got to the deadlift bar. Top time from heat number 1 will stand, 14:53. That's going to go.
Brandon, we saw that missed rep at the very bottom of that deadlift. It looked like they got out of sync. One went to pull, the other didn't go to pull. And I've actually been in competitions with a male-female partner doing deadlifts, and we get out of sync, and that missed rep is so costly, because one person's putting everything they've got into it like they're going back up, and the barbell doesn't move at all.
Barbell moving very well for the leaders, and there's a miscue for them, and this could be costly. They've only got about 5 reps remaining. We're nearing the final minute until the 17-minute time gap. They're trying to close it out and hold off Trax Pack, who has been on a charge since they made the switch. Who's going to hang on to that bar for one good last rep, and it's going to be 3 Kings Red taking the heat at 16:12. That'll be good for an unofficial 2nd place spot with 1 heat remaining. And a struggle to finish for Trax Pack, and that might open the window for a couple teams You see Stay Strong on the left side behind the judge, as well as Declaration. Trexpack will hold on to second in the heat. He's third place provisionally. Intensity to try to get these last couple of reps is center of the screen towards the left will be Stay Strong. Right side will be Declaration CrossFit, both in the final 9. Declaration will cross the line just in front of the time cap. 16:58 will be their time, and we'll have 3 of the 10 teams here in heat number 2 able to beat the time cap, led by 3 Kings Red at 16:11. But that still will not be enough to take the event lead, which will continue to be held by 8th Day Gym at 14:53. The only team to go sub 16 has also gone sub 15.
Event number 3, we're gonna do 3 rounds of 30 and 20 calories on the assault bike and 21:15.9 on a loaded barbell with 440 pounds. Male-female partner 2s will do the same exact amount of work, but 90-60 calories and 45 continuous deadlifts on that same 440 barbell.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
And away we go with our top 10 after one of 3 days of competition here at the Central Regional. Your points leaders will be focused towards the middle of the screen, and that does include Mayhem Freedom, which their opening pair will be wearing white and blue, center of the screen.
Well, Brandon, the keys to this event, we need to be really, really careful how we pace the bike, especially in the beginning, but most important key to the event is putting your heavy hitters second. The second male-female pair, they need to be really, really strong and consistent on the bike, and they need to be prepared to do 45 deadlifts at 440 pounds without getting back on that bike. So that's where we're going to see that second pair, they're going to have to act like the cleanup hitters.
Now, it might take an event record to win this, and one team that is synonymous with event records here at the Central Regional is Mayhem Freedom.
Mayhem Freedom, I mean, they're just so strong, and you know everybody knows Rich, but this cast of characters that they seem to attract into their team, they're so well-rounded. There's just not a weakness among them.
All 4 of their individual athletes turning down a spot, obviously. They were all in the top 13 in their region coming out of the Open. But they are being surrounded by a couple of teams all under one affiliate banner. For more on Kilo and Kilo 2, we go to Mike Arsenault.
Thank you, Brandon. CrossFit Kilo and CrossFit Kilo 2 are from different gyms, but they are a part of the same affiliate. Kilo is from Cedar Falls, Iowa, and Kilo 2 is from Iowa City. They follow the same programming, but they train separately because their gyms are an hour and a half apart. However, they do come together to train before competition. They also hang out during competition and strategize together. However, once the event starts, it's every kilo for itself.
Thanks, Mike. As Kilo, their male athlete for Kilo, the original, I suppose, decided that after 7 reps that was going to be enough, but forgot that there are still 14 reps remaining. Remember, they will advance the bar every time they complete a third of the round here in our opening pair. And the first team to advance their bar into the round number 2 spot will be Mayhem Freedom. So we take that back. OC3 Black will be in the lead. Mayhem Freedom in second. And one team that we haven't mentioned quite yet in this is a team to keep an eye on, a typical powerhouse gym, 417.
Well, 417, they were super strong coming out of the Open. They looked great yesterday coming into day 2, 5th overall. So expect to see great things out of them. They're just well-rounded, similar to CrossFit Mayhem Freedom.
So 417 out to a decent start here. Expect to see them make a move late. But the team that's looking to capitalize on some momentum from what their Heat 2 team did, 3 Kings Black, looking to replicate what 3 Kings Red did.
Yeah, Three Kings Red was strong in Heat 2, and Three Kings Black, they did a great job yesterday. Just really, really strong. And I love their post-workout, post-event interview where it just seemed like they were all in the right space mentally.
But the first team back to the bike for a second time was the 4th place team yesterday, and the #1 team in the world coming out of the Open, OC3 Black.
Sitting in 4th overall after 2 events, and they won the Open. And in the Open, their worst place out of the 5 workouts was a 9th. So just such an incredible performance across 5 different workouts.
And it's a nice contrast that you see from them and Mayhem Freedom. Mayhem Freedom, they have the names, they have all that attention. OC3 Black just quietly, consistently top 10 team in the games the past couple of years. #1 in the world. They don't have those individual stars. They're just a true team that shows up every year. And just like we're always used to here at the Central Regional, OC3 Black and Mayhem Freedom out in front. Just now getting to Alpha Dog and the red shirts on the bottom of the screen making their way to the bar, so it's about a 15-second interval from 1st and 2nd back to the rest of the pack. And into round number 3 already at 4 minutes and 47 seconds for OC3 Black. That is well ahead of the event record pace by, and we're talking about 20 seconds here.
Well, Brandon, you'll notice that barbell is loaded with 4 bumpers on one side and 5 on the other. The side with 5 has an extra 35 pounds on it, and that's loaded to the male side. So he's forced to do a little bit heavier of a deadlift. It makes it a little bit tricky to time it off the floor, but you and your partner need to be in sync. Even if you've got a big height difference, you need to be able to work through that. And sometimes you'll see some of the males cheating off to one side and giving and changing their grip a little bit to work with that height difference.
Three Kings Black putting on the finishing touches, but they're finding themselves in a rough position here in this heat. They're still moving fast. They're only a half minute off the event record pace, but it's really about a 6th or 7th place spot for Three Kings Black, as OC3 Black has opened up a huge margin, not just over the field, but over the event record pace. So it was 5:08 through round number 2 on that pace. They were through in 4:43. This is an uncomfortable spot to be in if you're in that 3rd round on the assault bike.
Yeah, no question about it, Brandon. And what I hear when you talk about them being almost a minute ahead of the event record pace is, can they hang on? Because the tendency is to blow yourself out. Now, it looks like they're going to be really strong on that last set of 9 deadlifts. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but your cleanup crew, your male-female second pair, they need to be able to continue that same pace.
6:32 off the bike in round number 3. That's the last time these two athletes will see the assault bike, 40 seconds ahead of the event record pace.
You can see them advancing that bar every 3 reps here in the set of 9.
Now our event leader here in the Central, 8th Day Gym, they finished at 14:53. They made the switch at 7:12, fell off the event record pace in the second pairing, 7:12 for OC3 Black, and they'll make the switch. We'll see if they have better success compared to that event record pace than 8th Day Gym did in heat number 1. Grandview is also going to be well ahead of the event record pace. They're making the switch at 7:26, 25 seconds quicker. Mayhem making the switch at 7:36. Not a bad pairing to send out there with Froning and Persevitz.
And now we're going to settle into, the male is going to do 90 straight calories. The female is going to do 60 straight calories. And then they'll step forward and do 45 deadlifts at that 440-pound barbell.
Now that event record, 14:36 by Lone Star CrossFit in Salt Lake City 1 week ago at the South Regional. It might take that if you want to win this event. This is our top time here, 14:53 in heat number 1. As OC3 Black, 4th place coming into the day, just 6 points clear of 6th place for those 5 qualifying spots, and 30 points behind CrossFit Mayhem Freedom coming into this day.
45 deadlifts. 9 reps at a time. You see the board broken off into 5 sections. 9 reps at a time. So we'll see how our teams take it.
It's funny to think about this because we had the 30 calories on the assault bike at regionals for the individuals last year. We saw the 40 and the 50, things like that. 90 is an awkward distance, or 60 for the female athletes. That is just a tough distance to kind of navigate.
It's a really tough distance, Brandon, because it's like 5 minutes of work, and that time domain, you can push it, and you can make yourself pay for it for the rest of the weekend potentially. So you need to be careful how you throttle this thing, because you could do a great job and pace it just right. You can go 10% harder and ruin your weekend.
It almost gets compounded too. That's an awkward distance, and then you have to follow it up with 45 deadlifts with that uneven bar.
Yeah.
The event record pace, for those curious, coming off the assault bike for Lone Star CrossFit, 11:47, and we're out to that 14:36 time. As Kilo 2, they're going to be bringing up the rear of the field, and they're going to have to make a move here on this second pairing, as our second place team coming into the day, or tied for second, is sitting in 10th out of the 10 teams here in the heat. Seeing a lot of people just kind of zoning out right now, trying to find a comfortable spot.
Comfortable.
Now with a distance like this, you're having to go for a little bit. It's obviously going to be an uncomfortable pace and an uncomfortable distance. How do you try to make that as comfortable as you can?
Well, it's really, really hard to make this thing comfortable. You have to settle into a pace and a rhythm. What I tend to do when I'm on the bike is to play around with different stroke rates and the intensity of my stroke rate. So I might do 20 really hard pedals and then coast it out for 5 or 6. But what I try to do is just mix up the throttle so that it's not the same repetition over and over and over.
Judge's hand is up for the female athlete on OC3 Black. And she's just going to coast it to 60, it looks like. Once that judge's hand goes down, I almost get the feeling that she's going to keep doing that just to flush out the legs a little bit.
Smart. The worst thing you can do is just to sit still and wait for your partner to finish. You might as well just keep the legs moving. Try to keep your lungs chilled out.
This is big as she's about to finish. Looks like she might have finished as long as that judge's hand has been up. As the male athlete with their judge's hand up as well, Tasia Persovitz with her judge's hand up. Now Froning with the judge's hand up. And OC3 Black's going to still hold on to the lead. They're still going to be ahead of the event record pace by 7 seconds. But it's going to be a whole lot closer than it seemed when we left that opening pairing. The OC3 Black onto the bar, and they look fresh getting into this opening set of 9.
That's really, really fast. I love the deadlifts. They're just, that is as quick as you can move through those, and they're working together as a pair.
30 seconds, the differential, first to second. So OC3 Black actually opened up a lead on the assault bike, and they might be doing more than that here on the deadlifts with the pace that they are moving, as they're already through 18 of the 45 reps.
One of the things that's helping them is that the male and female are almost identical heights. So that barbell, when it's at the very top, is completely level, and it's touching the ground at almost exactly the same time. So really, really helps to keep that in sync.
A moment ago, you saw CrossFit Grandview. They hold the 3rd spot in this heat, but they will be watching OC3 Black and Mayhem Freedom absolutely rip the barbell off the ground. OC3 Black with about a 9 or 10 rep advantage over Mayhem Freedom. Wow. Almost incredibly quiet, almost too quietly. The #1 team in the world out of the open, sat in 4th place after the first day. We really didn't talk about them a whole lot because they were just kind of hovering around those top 5 spots in each event. Well, we're going to talk about them now, and they're making plenty of noise. This is going to be a gigantic event record for OC3 Black. Number 1 in the open in the world will be number 1 here to start day number 2. Event win, event record for OC3 Black.
They absolutely smashed those 45 deadlifts.
Let's get the feeling he could have done all 45 unbroken if they didn't have to move that bar forward every set.
Just an annoyance to roll it forward.
13:40, nearly a minute faster than the event record. Unbelievable. Mayhem Freedom also ahead of the event record pace. Still have 9 reps remaining. Race behind them is pretty solid for 3rd. CrossFit Grandview on the near side. Trying to hold off another Mayhem Team Independence and 417, but Mayhem Freedom, just a couple of reps remaining. And the points leaders will get their 3rd consecutive top 2 finish to start the weekend. And they'll stay on top in the standings of Mayhem Independence. That's some of the perils when you get that heavy deadlift, keeping that as close as you can.
I was going to say, look, all those coaches out there, when they say keep the bar close, there it is. That's what it looks like.
Independence is going to move into the 3rd position in the heat, just ahead of 417, 1 lane over to the right of them, as well as Grandview in lane number 10. 90 seconds until the time cap. We've only had 7 teams thus far able to beat that 17-minute limit. The race is on, trying to get every rep you can. Fast as you can, trying to take the position. They're both going to break in the final set with just a couple of reps remaining. So no rep for 417. Independence continues to slow, and 417 is going to take the spot. 15:56, good for 3rd in the heat. Independence comes across at 16 flat for 4th. And those both will be good for top 5s unofficially in the event as CrossFit Grandview continues to struggle here late. Kilo will be our 5th finisher in the heat at 16:15. There's going to be a couple of times from our first 2 heats that will factor in. This is a frustrating spot for CrossFit Grandview. They were 3rd coming off the assault bike, and it just looks like the legs gave out on them. And they have seen several teams move by them, and there's another one going by for CrossFit Alpha Dog. Alpha Dog will take 6th in the heat, 16:54, 1 second ahead of Grandview. But it was 0 issue for OC3 Black, an event record by nearly 1 minute.
OC3 Black absolutely tore this workout apart. Their pacing was strong right from the beginning. They led wire to wire. There was absolutely no way that they were going to give up the lead from the start. Their first male-female pair crushed the deadlifts from start to finish. You could see that quick tag out. They were ahead of the pace already. We questioned whether or not they would be able to hang on to that lead, but their second male-female pair demolished that 45 deadlifts and crossed the line in the time of 13:40, almost a full minute ahead of the event record time.
And over a minute ahead of 2nd place CrossFit Mayhem Freedom. Just absolute decimation of this event. 13:40, your new event record for OC3 Black, a minute 5 quicker than Mayhem Freedom. 8th Day Gym from back in heat number 1 will take 3rd place here in this one, but with your new event record holders, let's go down to Mike Arsenault.
OC3 Black, 100 points here in event number 3. An event record, an event win. Why did this event line up so strong for you guys?
Well, it helps that all 4 of us love to deadlift. As far as the bike goes, it's just shutting your brain off and going. So if you know that deadlifts are coming and you're really confident in deadlifting, it shouldn't be a problem.
Let's discuss strategy. Most teams have put their bigger athletes second. You guys went with your shorter athletes for the second half of that event. What was the reasoning behind that decision?
Well, realistically, we knew our bigger guy, Colin, could really crank out the 30 multiple times in a row. So just by default, Andrew and I kind of fell into that second spot.
And how are the bodies holding up so far after 3 events of the Central Regional competition?
We're fresh as can be. Let's go.
Let's go on to event number 4, OC3 Black with event win on event 3.
An impressive event record by nearly a minute over the time from Lone Star CrossFit 1 week ago at the South Regional. Their splits, by the way, pair 1, 7:12, pair 2, 6:28. Unbelievable start to day number 2 for OC3 Black, and there's still 1 event remaining for the teams, as we'll have event number 4 coming up next.
Ten seconds. Athletes stand by. All right, ladies and gentlemen, team event number 4. Here we go, 40 worm thrusters, followed by 40 burpees over that worm, followed by 30 more worm thrusters and 30 burpees over that worm. Got 10 teams out here throwing down in our Central Regional. Second day of competition. Lane number 1, CrossFit 913. Lane number 2, 8-day gym. Lane number 3, CrossFit 8085. Lane number 4, Centerville Crossfit. Lane number 5, CrossFit Hendersonville. Lane number 6, CrossFit Lee Summit. And lane number 7, Triple Crown CrossFit. Lane number 8, CrossFit T-Town. Lane number 9, CrossFit Omaha. And lane number 10, CrossFit 540. So here we go, getting right to work. We're about 60 seconds in. We've got a 12-minute cap on the workout. Athletes advancing the worm forward, making it really easy to see who is our leader. A lot of teamwork and strength and endurance all inside this event number 4. The event record for event number 4 set last week in the South Region. Team Don't Stop with a time of 8 minutes and 41 seconds. We'll see if anybody here in the Central Region can atop that. Keep an eye for those judges' hands in the air.
Ready, go!
Looks like Centerville CrossFit, our first team to advance. On to the burpees, 8th-day gym, continuing their strong second day. They're now on to the burpees. We got 2 teams on the burpees, and then a really close race for 3rd place between Hendersonville, T-Town, and now Omaha. Minutes in, Centerville CrossFit, our first team onto the burpees. Once again, this first set of burpees, 40 reps. Sure enough, they're in lane number 4, Centerville CrossFit.
Ready, go!
Advancing that worm. They're halfway through that first set of burpees right now. Centerville and 8th Day Gym. You're 1 and 2 battling it out. Here in lanes 2 and 4. And now Hendersonville advancing. So you're 1, 2, and 3, Centerville, 8th Day, and Hendersonville. Here, 4.5 minutes in. Eighth Day with the judge's hand in the air. Centerville as well. You're 1 and 2. As both teams get primed to take on those second set of thrusters. We got 30 reps here in the next section. Centerville, our first team, moving forward here in lane number 4. And they're going to go right to work. Just past the 6-minute mark. Halfway in, competitors, 12-minute cap. 8th Day and Centerville, still your 1 and 2. Hendersonville in the mix as well. It's Centerville CrossFit advancing.
Go!
Final 15 reps here on the worm for Centerville CrossFit.
3, 4, 5, 1 second. 3, 2, 1, go! 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 4.
And Centerville CrossFit able to wrap up the 30 worm thrusters, 30 burpees remaining. As they are now building on that lead here, 7.5 minutes in. Centerville still our only team right now on the burpees. 8th Day slowing down just a bit. Hendersonville trying to wrap it up here in lane 5. But all eyes still in lane number 4, Centerville CrossFit. Looking to reach the halfway point here on the burpees. Judge's hand in the air. Centerville halfway through, they're going to advance their worm forward into the final section. Hendersonville and 8th Day
Drop.
Continuing to battle it out for second and third. And now CrossFit Omaha down here in lane 9 on their final set of burpees. So 4 teams, make that 5 teams now. Triple Crown joining in on the final set of burpees. That's Centerville Crossfit trying to wrap up their second day here in event number 4 with a heat victory. An opportunity to set the time to beat here in the Central Regional. Nine and a half minutes in. All right, Central Regional, let's bring these athletes home. Centerville CrossFit. We're gonna wrap up day number 2. Final burpee, and there it is. Centerville CrossFit setting the time to beat here in heat number 1. Now the battle for second, 8th day gym. The slight lead over Hendersonville. 8th day. Trying to use Saturday as their moving day with a strong performance in event number 3. Trying to continue that momentum here in event number 4, 8th day. Judges hand in the air. It's going to be 8th day gym. Our second team to finish underneath the cap. Athletes, you've got 1 minute. 1 minute. Hendersonville, Omaha, and Triple Crown all on their final set here. It looks like Hendersonville and Omaha looking to be one of our next teams to finish. Tight race here for 3rd place in this heat. It's going to be Hendersonville crossing that finish line. And now Omaha bringing it across. 30 seconds. Triple Crown CrossFit looking to be our next team here in heat number 1 to finish. 20 seconds. And Triple Crown CrossFit brings it across the finish line. 10 seconds. We're gonna count them down. 3, 2, 1. That is time. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for heat number 1, event 4, here, the Central Regional 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. Stand by.
Away we go with the shortest test on the first 2 days of team competition. Again, you'll note lane number 5 will be empty. That CrossFit Kinesis, after they have withdrawn from the competition. Here in this heat, out of the 9 teams left, we saw 7 of those 9 have significant changes in their point positioning in event number 3, something that we expect to continue here in an event like this one.
Absolutely. This is an event where it's going to demand communication with your teammates. And we always hear that in a lot of these team events, that communication is key, but always with the worm, communication back and forth is going to be really important.
Seeing already one team has advanced beyond the halfway point in this first round of 40 worm thrusters. They are in lane number 4. That would be Joko CrossFit. They'll advance the worm every time they clear halfway through a round, and then every time they complete a round here in event number 4, which what are we looking for success?
Brandon, really what we're looking for is, like we said earlier, it's communication, but it's risk versus reward. We've seen some teams go unbroken on these thrusters. that could be a good thing because you can rip through them really quickly, but you also need to move as a unit. When you do the burpees, you need to be up and over and lay down at the exact same time, so you need to coordinate every single movement from start to finish.
Now it is a loud building here early on, very crowded. You might not look at it in that shot, but everywhere else there's a lot of people around here, so communication could be at a premium. Let's take a listen to our lead teams.
You can see them right away. They're already struggling, trying to figure out who's going where and who's going to lay down where. That is not a good sign, especially at this early stage, just 2 minutes into the event.
Different look here for Declaration CrossFit as they seem to be very comfortable with each other in this movement. So our top 2 teams already working through the set of 40 burpees. And this is a different movement. It was a bit of a curveball that was thrown a couple weeks after the competition.
For most of these teams, this should be a big deal to make that adjustment, especially because now they're not being kicked in the face like we heard so many times over the last season or two. So this is I'm sure, a welcome change for most of the athletes.
Joko CrossFit clearing the halfway point in the set of 40. Advance that. It's just like an annoyance at this point. You get through 20 burpees, you gotta pick the arm up just to move it a few feet down the floor. You seem a lot more comfortable on this. Still a little bit of lag with a couple of the athletes.
No rep.
Now no rep for Joko on the left as they had an athlete come down to the ground before everybody cleared over and they got into that position, so they lost the synchronization portion of it. So first place, Joko on the left. Second place, Declaration on the right.
It's so easy to get out of sync here, and it becomes frustrating where you're not working as a team, you're not gelled as a unit, and one person needs to take control, one person needs to make sure that the other 3 are doing exactly what they're supposed to do.
Now, communication and leadership, a big thing that you see in this sport, also in the sport of football, and with a special guest, we go to Mike Arsenault.
Thanks, Brandon. Joining me once again this morning is former NFL running back Justin Forsett. You played 9 years in the league, and now it's safe to say you're an avid CrossFitter. So obviously communication was key for you during your NFL career as a running back, your communication with your offensive line. What parallels do you see communication-wise in pro football here in the CrossFit team competition?
It's huge parallels. For me, it was important to communicate with my offensive line. If I had Von Miller coming off the edge, I need to let my tackle know, hey, I'm coming to help you. It's important that he's not doing any wasted movement so we can keep our scheme together. Same out here. It can't be any wasted movement, so they got to be in constant communication and doing these drills because one misstep can put you back. And encouragement, just simple encouragement. On the team, in football, you got to constantly be encouraging your teammates, keep them uplifted. Out here, you got to encourage because times are going to get tough. Your body's going to tell you to shut down, but that encouragement will keep you going.
And speaking of competition and training, you're currently training because you're going to be back on the field with communication, with all the football skills that you've accumulated throughout your life. What will we be doing coming up in the next 6 months or so?
Yeah, I'll be playing in the American Flag Football League. It'll be on NFL Network coming up in July. I'll be hosting having my own team along with Michael Vick, Ocho Cinco. And we're going out there to play some average Joes across the country for $1 million prize at the end. So it's going to be pretty cool.
From one great team in the flag football coming up to the great teams here on the floor, Brandon, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Mike. And a little distracted to think of a team with that kind of speed with Forsett, Chad Johnson, Mike Vick. That's scary. Getting back to CrossFit, it's Joko CrossFit starting to struggle here, rounding out this round of 40 burpees. They have completed it, but it wasn't pretty for a lot of that segment. And with those issues, we now have 3 Kings Red, the team that made the big jump in event number 3. And they are now level as they start the set of 30 on the one thrusters. They are both behind the pace of the event leader, Centerville CrossFit, who set the time to beat at 9:56.
You can see both teams were in sync there, going up and down. But left-hand side, it's starting to become apparent that they're struggling, a couple no reps here and there, and then they had to pause for quite a while to kind of organize their thoughts.
Tracks pack on the very near side of the screen. They're in lane number 10. A couple lanes up from them. The American shorts, that's Declaration CrossFit. And the issues continue for the early leaders, Joko CrossFit. They see 3 Kings Red make a pass and get to the final 15 worm thrusters they'll have in this event. Three Kings Red, they came into this day 15th, they've moved up to 10th. Declaration CrossFit, another of the teams that moved up. In fact, they were the only 2 that had a significant jump up in the point standings. As Three Kings Red went from 15th to 10th, Declaration, now second place in the heat, went from 16th to 13th in event number 3.
And that's why we call this moving day, Brandon. Everything moves around. These teams are jockeying for position. This is the day where a lot of it comes down to Saturday. How do you perform?
Top 2 not what we saw out in front early on as Joko has faded. Coda CrossFit Norman is starting to make a move. They need to do this. They came in today in 19th, but after a 24th place finish in event number 3, they find themselves in 25th place in the point standings. This could be massive for Coda CrossFit Norman. But already on to the burpees. Lane number 3 is your leaders, 3 Kings Red, who find themselves in position to possibly be into that final heat going into day number 3, which is critical. They chase down the event record, which is a little bit out of question at this point. 8 minutes, 41 seconds set by Don't Stop in the South Regional out in Salt Lake City last week. 9:56 time set by Centerville Crossfit in event number 1 is within reach. Not any difference that we're seeing in the communication here on the burpees than what we saw from Joko, specifically a little bit earlier.
Well, they're moving really, really well. They're in sync. They're moving with purpose. Everybody knows where they're supposed to go. It's well choreographed.
Right side of the screen is the team spread. Second place team on the far side on the left. Coda CrossFit Norman, the 19th place finishers from 1 year ago. Beat 9:57, beats up the event. 45 seconds away. It's going to be a tall task with 15 burpees remaining, as well as this 10-foot carry of the worm at the halfway point. They will have 30 seconds to get through 15 burpees. That's going to be tough. I'm not sure if that's going to be doable, but you got to go back another minute to the second place time set by Nate Dajan at 10:54. There's a very good chance we'll be seeing Three Kings Red with a second place provisional position if they can hold off Coda CrossFit Norman, who seem to be fading after a great job of the thrusters for this final round.
You can see the front male setting the tempo for everything. It sends that everybody's down on the ground. He immediately takes the lead, hops up and over, gets himself set, and everybody else follows suit.
In this event, we've seen the back athlete be the communication person. Here we're seeing it on the front, and it's actually working very well. Race for what looks to be third. Declaration CrossFit in the American shorts. 1 lane to the right of them is Coda CrossFit. And the final couple of reps, and now the final rep. Three Kings Red with the finishing touches on a very good second day of competition for them. They enter this event in 10th. They have the second position provisionally with 1 heat remaining. Five teams working on their final set of burpees, 2 of them from Coda CrossFit. Here's Coda CrossFit out of Oklahoma City working on them. Declaration CrossFit is starting to make a move to the final 15 as well.
I'm looking at Declaration CrossFit in the flag shorts. You can see their athletes trying to work together, but the gentleman with the longer hair, he was struggling on that last set. And what I'm thinking about is Forsett talking about encouragement. I could see every one of his teammates trying to pick him up.
Lane 6, green shirts is Maven. They have a judge's hand up, as does Coda CrossFit in lane number 9. Maven needs this position, but Coda CrossFit Norman will be second in the heat. Maven third in the heat. As Maven was in a bit of a free fall after event number 3 came into the day in 12th. Found themselves 17th, and it's a close race. We'll have to go to the chip timer on that one. I believe that's going to be Stay Strong in lane number 7. That just got a step ahead of Coda CrossFit in lane 9. And the early leaders continuing to fight to finish this out in the final few seconds. Declaration will beat the time cap. As we'll have 6 of the 10 teams, 6 of the 9 teams here in heat number 2, able to beat the time cap. Your heat win, good for second place provisionally, will be 3 Kings Red, a team that's found themselves in the top 10 and likely in a final spot in the final heat tomorrow.
Well, 3 Kings Red came out really strong. They were well organized. Every single movement looked like it was well thought out. It was synchronized. The gentleman in the front took the lead on the burpees. He was clearly calling the cadence and setting the pace, and that set them up for an event win here.
So the heat goes to 3 Kings Red, backing up a 6th place finish in event number 3 earlier today. And these athletes will move the worms back across the floor as we get ready for heat number 3 of 3. The final heat today, the second day of competition on the team side. And in our final heat, the points leaders will be in the middle of the screen. Lane number 5, CrossFit Mayhem Freedom, but the team with all the momentum is the number 1 team in the world coming out of the open, and that's OC3 Black. They'll be in lane number 7.
OC3 Black absolutely demolished event 3. Really, really impressive win for them.
Of course, they still continue to chase this team, the second place team at the games 1 year ago.
CrossFit Mayhem Freedom, Rich Froning, he's got an absolute all-star cast behind him, so I expect to see great things, obviously, out of Rich and his team.
Underway with the final test on day number 2 for the teams here in Nashville. Time to beat 9 minutes, 57 seconds.
What we're looking at right off the bat is to try to get in a nice rhythm with your teammates to make sure that we're moving efficiently through these thrusters, that we're all well coordinated. The keys here, risk versus reward. Can you do your thrusters unbroken? If everybody on your team has the capacity to do so, it might make sense to avoid setting that worm down. If you can do them unbroken, then you need to make sure that you move as a unit, especially on the burpees. You need to coordinate the times that you get down and get up, because everything needs to be in sync.
Judges' hands already going up. That will indicate the final 5 reps towards the halfway point, as they will advance the worm every time they clear halfway through one of the sets of movements. Now, when you think of experience handling the worm, whether it be the 6-person or the 4-person one now, you think of Mayhem Freedom.
Well, we heard Rich say it yesterday that whether it's 6 or 4 didn't really matter. The worm it makes your team struggle. There's just no way around it. The 2 ends, he said, the front and the far back, those are the 2 worst positions to be in. But you can see how easy this is to moving. He keeps it really close to his head. He barely clears it over the top of the head. That's as perfect as you can do those thrusters.
Similar fashion and similar experience for OC3 Black on the right. In fact, they're going to be the first 2 teams to advance the worm and start on their set of 40 burpees.
Yep. So now we've got these 40 burpees and we need to work together. Everybody needs to be on the ground at exactly the same time. They can jump up at different times, but they need to all be on the deck at exactly the same time.
Third place team towards the bottom of the screen in the red tops for the female athletes will be CrossFit Alpha Dog. They're only about 8 seconds behind the top 2, OC3 Black and Mayhem Freedom. Now As we clear the halfway point in the competition, it's always important to keep an eye on the bubble teams. And the current team holding that 5th and final qualifying spot is CrossFit Mayhem Independence.
Mayhem Independence, right now they're sitting in that 5th spot. They've got 228 points. They're in a really good position as long as they can just hang on.
24 points behind them is a team where their co-team, their sister team, has a ton of momentum from heat number 2, but still significant run thus far for Three Kings Black.
Three Kings Black, again, really strong finish in event 3, and we're hoping that they can keep that momentum and just keep pushing through. They've got to try to take a risk at some point in this thing and jump up into that next spot.
And then one hit in event number 1 with the win, but since then a 12th and a 16th has pushed them one spot outside of the top 5 as we hit the halfway point. First team to advance the worm as they clear rep number 20 on the worm burpees will be Mayhem Freedom. And it's been real simple for them thus far on the stat line. Second, first, second in the first 3 events.
That's what you like to see. Anytime you're in a competition, you take the first when you get them, and anything else, it's just you're trying to hold on. But first, second, first, I'll take that all day.
Watch them update, work on the burpees, give you an update on something from heat number 2. We mentioned CrossFit Kinesis withdrawing from the competition is a injury for Kyle Kasperbauer. Obviously somebody that will be a name when we get to the Masters competition this summer. Wish him the best in covering. But we move on here with our top 2. And heat number 3 continues to be Mayhem Freedom on the left and OC3 Black on the right. The name of today is typically Moving Day, and that's good for a lot of teams. It's not so good for some. And the team that had the biggest fall here in this final heat in event number 3 is CrossFit Kilo 2.
They were so strong on day 1, and with event 3 pushed them down into 7th place overall. So they're going to need to make a move in event 4. We've got to make a push here to try to get back up there towards the top of the leaderboard.
The team on top of that leaderboard is now at the halfway point in terms of this event. As Mayhem Freedom pick up that worm and advance it forward to start their round of 30 thrusters and 30 burpees. They are right in line with the event record pace. Just that continuing theme that we've been seeing all weekend. Second place is going to go to CrossFit Alpha Dog as they're in the final couple of reps. A team that is trying to get out of this mid-pack here in this heat as they came into today in 8th. They stay in 8th place, 30 points away from 5th. Mayhem opening up a healthy lead. Already about 10 reps in.
What I'm looking at on these thrusters normally we want to get the hip down below parallel, we want to get the hip below the knee, and then we want arms at full extension all the way up overhead. With the worm and these 4 people at different heights and different arm lengths, it's almost impossible to do that, so the standards are a little bit different. We need to get the hip below parallel, so it needs to be a full squat. We need to extend the hip all the way up, so we're standing fully upright. But we don't need to completely extend the arms, and that's why you see the worm just barely graze over the top of all the athletes' heads.
They'll actually settle the worm down to the ground, something that we haven't seen from a lot of leaders in other regions. Normally, some will choose to keep it up on the shoulder, but that does add a little bit more wear and tear. Mayhem Freedom in the blue shorts, center of the screen, continue to lead. Alpha Dog has pulled the halfway point in a set of 30 worm thrusters, so it's only a 5-rep differential first to second.
Mayhem Freedom looking really strong here. They had a little wobble just about 5 reps ago where Rich didn't squat. It seemed like the guys in the middle squatted, so I think they're trying to figure out to stay in that rhythm so if one person doesn't end up doing a rep out of sync with everyone else.
It's been very efficient for the heat leaders. Mayhem Freedom, the second place team, started the charge, and that's Alpha Dog. You saw them get a no rep for the inconsistency in the squat amongst all 4 athletes, but other than that, they've been pretty flawless in this one. They're starting to have this struggle here on the thrusters, getting everybody lined up on the squat. Only about a half hour away from Cookeville, Tennessee. You're seeing that sea of Mayhem support. They watch their team lead the way, but they're starting to have to fight as OC3 Black 2 lanes away. There they are on the right side of the screen. They've moved back into the picture after fading just a little bit on those thrusters. They pull back into the picture. They're getting a no-rep ready. Burpees. It took a little bit to try to figure out what was going on.
Well, we can see both of those teams doing a really good job of getting up and over the Burpees. The front three athletes, the back athlete is the last one to touch the ground. As soon as she hits the ground for both teams, they pop up as a unit and hop over.
And the time to beat 9 minutes, 57 seconds. The event record is about a minute away, 8:41. That's still possible as Mayhem Freedom is moving the worm to the section for the final 15 reps on the burpees. The race for second behind them has 7 teams in the running, 6 teams in the running. The Mayhem Freedom putting the finishing touches on what would be a 4th consecutive top 2 finish to start the weekend.
Not a bad start to the weekend, and maybe under normal circumstances, without doing the burpees over the worm, you might be able to knock out 15 reps in 40 seconds or so. Here, I think we're going to be just behind that event record.
There's no rep on the burpees. Not sure if it was fatigue or if it was just miscommunication there as Barber came up a little bit late than everybody else. The event record for Don't Stop out of the South Regional will hold, but look at the swarm of athletes closing out this event, the final 5. For Mayhem Freedom. Mayhem Freedom will take the event at 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Not sure what was going on there with the worm. They might want to make sure it was inside the lane. Now the race for second. Back to the OC3. No, they got called back. One burpee left. Could that cost them? And in the end, it won't. They'll still hold on to second. And 1 and 2 in the point standings will be 1 and 2 here in event number 4. Mayhem Independence will cross the line in 3rd, just in front of 417. So your top 4 here in the event are going to be 4 of the 5 teams in the point qualifying positions coming into this event. Alpha Dogs starting to see a couple of positions slip by them, but they'll round out the top 5 in the heat at just over 10 minutes. Kilo 2 crossing the line in 6th at 10:09. 80:35, our next finisher. This is an event where in week number 1, only about 40% of teams are able to meet the time cap. We might have everybody here meet the time cap, because that's still 90 seconds away. Grandview in position to be our next finisher. This is going to be a different finish for them. We've got used to seeing the same position. In event 1, 10th. In event 2, 10th. In event 3, 10th. There's Grandview crossing an 8th here in this heat. And there's one team that's still working on the opening half of this set of thrusters, and that's in lane number 8, 3 Kings Black, the team that's 1 spot out. CrossFit Kilo, the 4th place team, also on the floor. Mentioned it, moving day is good for many, but it's got to be bad for some if that's the case. Not a great day to follow up. It was a fantastic day for the 2 Kilo teams, as they both get hit pretty hard in one of these 2 events today.
Now that'll be frustrating, and I'm sure they're going to have to try to regroup mentally later this afternoon and this evening and try to figure out what the game plan is for tomorrow.
Also going to be a significant hit for 3 Kings Black, who had that event win to start the weekend, but since then they've just been stuck in the mud. The 12th, a 16th, and here they're rounding out the field in the final 15 seconds before the time cap in our final heat.
Trying hard to make that last little push.
They will be hit by the time cap penalty, which will be 12 minutes plus 1 second for every rep not completed. But that time cap was a long gone afterthought for our event winners. CrossFit Mayhem Freedom, second win of the weekend.
CrossFit Mayhem Freedom, Rich Frowning's team, they did such a great job right off the bat with the first set of 40 thrusters, and their burpees were flawless. It was really a solid rhythm from start to finish. They made the worm work look really, really easy. I only saw one little bobble there in the middle. It looked like somebody tried to do a squat. The rest of the team wasn't quite ready, but they were consistent and steady from start to finish, and that's what puts them with the event win.
That event win will keep them at the top of the leaderboard as they continue to pull away from the rest of the field. OC3 Black is sticking with them, though. Second place for them. Mayhem Independence finding themselves solidly in the top 5 now after day number 2 as they finish third. 417 in fourth. Centerville CrossFit from heat number 1 rounds out the top 5, but Mayhem Freedom is with Mike Arsenault.
Mayhem Freedom, today is considered moving day at the regional competition, and you've moved nowhere. You're still on the top of the leaderboard after 2 days. What unique challenges does the new burpee standard present on the worm compared to last year?
So we definitely had to figure out which order we needed to make sure we weren't going to kick each other in the face as we came down. And it was just a strategy worth of who in the back can see what everyone's on the ground at the same time and know to be able to call correctly. So it's that balancing act of slowing down enough so that you can all be on the ground at the same time, but not losing too much time wasting trying to figure out where we are. So we definitely went through some practice run-throughs, but I think we executed pretty well.
That practice paid off. So Rich, we've talked all weekend that you have 2 teams here at the Central Regional. How did you devise the teams? How did you pick who was going to be on which team?
I think it was just personalities and who fit better, and just height. Height is a huge, I mean, that's one of the biggest keys in the team competition is the height. When you have to do stuff like the worm, everybody needs to be relatively the same height. So that's kind of the way we went about it. I guess Kristen's the one outlier that she's a little bit shorter than everybody, but it's worked so far.
And what's the relationship between the 2 teams here at the regional? Are you talking together, or are you kind of keeping to your separate 4-person teams?
Oh, no, we're one big team. We share, I guess, strategy, have fun, hang out the entire time, and literally we're together until we split in the corrals. Yesterday we were right next to each other in the lane, so it was like a normal day, so it was fun. It's good though, because we actually get to go against each other. Usually at home we don't have enough equipment, so we're, one group's going first in the workout, so you can kind of steal their strategy or kind of figure that out, but there's none of that today, so it's been good.
Mayhem Freedom on the top of the team leaderboard after 2 days of competition.
They lead the way, and Mayhem Independence is close behind them, as well as a couple of other big-name teams, OC3 Black 417, as we move to the final day of competition on the team side. That's tomorrow, but next, individual day number 2.